have to learn that skill. And for the first time in my life, I realized this, like we learn singing, like we learn dancing, like we learn how to solve Rubik's Cube, we have to learn how to communicate. Then I realized, started debating this with people, and many of them, they said that no, what to be learned in communication? Today, if we decode that what to be learned in communication, then and then you will decide whether you want to learn or not. If I teach you singing, you learn swaras, you are a good singer. If you want to learn guitar, you learn notes, you are a good guitarist. What about communication? So tell me, one first question coming in my mind, and I'm expecting the answer from you. क्या सीखते हैं communication में? What do we learn in communication? Anyone? In swimming, we learn strokes. Yeah? How to keep the audience engaged? For what? I can talk nonsense. Even stand-up comedians, they can keep you engaged for 10 minutes. They will make you laugh. That is one way of engagement.
But after once a time, it didn't happen.
That's on a different page. So one is saying that how to keep the audience engaged. Correct? That's the output of communication. I'm a singer. I want that you should be very blissful state when I'm singing. That's an output. I'm a speaker. I want that you should be completely engaged in my words. That's an output. What is the swaras in communication? Eye contact. Who said eye contact? Eye contact.
Unable to express what you want to speak of.
We'll take one by one, right? I'll respectfully come to you. So you said eye contact. Yeah, that's okay. Means I can talk. I can look into your eyes and talk rubbish. I can do that, right? I understand the importance of eye contact. Eye contact is something which is like, me and Mamajid, we are very good close friends. He's from mountains. So many times we just speak in eyes. Eye contact in all your relationship, doesn't matter whether you have a professional or unprofessional relationship or personal relationship, if you have spent huge amount of time with that person, you can speak eye to eyes. I understand the importance of eye contact, but I'm saying, how do I learn eye contact? I learn swaras. I learn how to solve Rubik's cubes by learning some algorithms. I learn how to swim by learning some strokes. What should I learn in communication?
Articulation.
Huh? Articulation?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah, I'm online.
Oh, you're
Abhishek.
online.
Yeah.
Okay, some people are online also. Okay. Articulation is language, correct? Language, articulation, we are just speaking. So one aspect of communication is language. One aspect is the language. Now let's understand the language now first. Who invented language and why the language got invented? Have you seen the movie called The First Man? The documentary film, The First Man. It's a documentary film on discovery. So what researchers did, they said that, okay, let's find out the most important decision our ancestors has taken in the evolution because of which Homo sapiens is dominating the planet Earth, and the degree of dominance is so high that we are selling the Earth also. Fundamentally, we have absolutely zero rights on the planet Earth. We are selling that. Why we have reached this level? So there are three reasons. So researchers, peer-reviewed, and all the rest of it. There are three reasons. One theory is that the reason why we have decided, or the person who has decided to leave the trees first. In the evolution, in the 25 millions of years of evolution, someone at the era of apes decided to leave the trees first. We started traveling, and the rest happened, number one. There are so many species on the planet Earth, they came before us, but they are not so evolved because they have not decided to leave the trees or the caves. Second, they said, Homo erectus, before Homo sapiens, we are there only for a few thousand years. Homo erectus, there were almost for 2 lakhs. So Homo erectus, they invented language. Now what is the significance of language in Homo erectus era? It's like a tribe of 50 people, and one has decided to go and search food. Now how do I go back and tell the person that where is the food? Can you keep the audience on mute please?
पहले उसका बैकग्राउंड का एक्चुअली तो बात करने के बाद उनको लगता है कि हमें
Yeah, thanks for doing that. So second is, they said, Homo erectus, they learned how to control fire. They said second is that, because the same amount of energy which we used to consume to burn the food, the same energy we saved because we started eating the cooked food. And the same saved energy we started using to develop brain, cognitive brain. So second said that this is the reason why we are so, this is a decision taken by ancestor. And if you see that towards the end of this documentary film, where the names are coming, and I said, what is the answer? Tell me the answer first. And towards the end, there is a scene where the lady is standing and few people are sitting down. There's a fire going on. Not the campfire. The fire is because there is chill. The fire is going on, and the lady is standing and saying something, and the background voice is, one thing which differentiates us from other animals, because of which we have reached wherever we have reached, is our ability to speak. In millions of years, there is a physiological changes here because of which we can make at least 10 to 11 voices, which no other animal can do that. Koel can do just cuckoo, dogs can do just bhaw bhaw. This physiological change plus the intellect of Homo erectus and Homo sapiens developed the languages. We are the only species on the planet Earth who can actually share the complex thoughts. No other species can do that. Complex thoughts I'm talking about. Dogs can share hungry, thirsty, I have a dog, he can tell me that he's alone, but not the complex thought the way we can discuss. So one aspect of communication is the language, but the unfortunate part in India is, which is a very unfortunate part, we are not allowed to speak in our mother tongue. You go to China, people speak in Chinese. You go to Germany, people speak in German. We are forcefully asked to speak in a language which is not our mother tongue. So I remember when I was in 9th standard, I failed. And I never used to study in my life. I'm not that guy who used to feel that I am weak. No, I never used to study only. Like, मैं ऐसा बैठा रहेगा book के सामने, even for 1 hour, my mom used to say, please turn the page now. It's almost 1 hour. But in 11th standard, when I fall in love with one girl, just to impress that girl, I was number 1 in my college. Then I realized that yes, I can study all too. But the point I'm making, I was never good in English. When I joined Cipla as a first company, I was so hesitant in speaking even a single line. In case you might have heard this story before also. I worked very hard on my languages. Very hard, especially English. Very hard. And the only way to work hard on English, which is no other way, I don't see no other way to improve any language, speak. I must have spoken thousands of hours in last few years, especially when I started this Speak and Grow company where I started sharing my understanding about communication, thousands of hours. So one aspect of communication is language. If you really want to do good in India, in entrepreneurship, and if you really want to share your idea, values and thoughts in front of investors within the given time, you cannot entertain the thought or fear of English in your mind. कि मैं कैसे बात करूँ यार? Will I fumble? Moment the fear is there in your mind, gone. Is anyone here who has this fear of English? Just show your hand. It means you have fear. you have. What is that fear? Tell me very quickly. Then we'll move forward. आप कहाँ से हो? So आपने बचपन में कभी अंग्रेजी नहीं बोली होगी? नहीं? आपके माहौल में कभी अंग्रेजी नहीं होगी? Right? आपके पेरेंट्स के साथ में कभी अंग्रेजी नहीं बात की होगी? आपके दोस्तों के साथ में कभी अंग्रेजी बात नहीं की होगी? कहाँ से आएगी? आएगी ही नहीं. So instead of crying with that past, that I belong to this, अगर सच में कुछ बड़ा करना है ना भाई अंग्रेजी सीख ले इंडिया में. ठीक है? Very important. You cannot grow in India, unfortunately. I have left city, but whatever I have spent almost 16 years in Mumbai, and I have seen there is some invisible button on our body in India. As soon as you enter inside the conference room, you have to speak in English. Right? Number 1. Number 2, we will not spend more time on English. Number 2 aspect of communication is this. whenever we speak in front of people, how do I validate that the person has understood exactly what I am trying to say? How do I validate that? In one-to-one conversation, I can still, there is a scope of asking you, have you understood, not understood? There's still a scope, but you have been given 2 minutes in front of an investor, you are speaking with no questions and nothing. How do I validate they are really receiving the words correctly the way I want them to receive? कैसे पता लगेगा? Anyone? कैसे करते हैं validation? हाँ? किसकी body language?
How they are responding to us.
You cannot do two things at a time. Either you are focused completely on words or you are focused on the investor. If you are really pitching your idea, I doubt in a very stressed situation, when I say stress, positive stress, in a very stressed situation where the things are on stake, maybe yes and no can redefine your life, you will not be focused on their body language, I must tell you. That's impractical. Am I making sense? That's impractical. How do I validate? There is no verbal validation. There is no scope of verbal validation. How do I validate that? How do I validate now whether you are really listening to me or not? Or you are really understanding what I want to convey or not? Whatever I am trying to convey. How do I validate? Then
I think eye contact can play a major role. Yeah.
eye contact can play a visual role, can play an important role, and I agree with that. Anything else apart from that? How do I validate it? I'm not suggesting, advising. I'm discovering. I'm investigating. I'm sitting with someone who are from IIT. So I'm not here with the yes and no answers. That yes, you are right. Thank you very much. Go. No, I'm not there. How do we validate? Such an important aspect of communication, that is person receiving what I'm giving? Is there any way of validation? One is eye contact, facial expression. Anything else?
Concentration.
We need to already know. We need to already know before speaking what will make that person understand what we are trying to say.
How do we do that?
In just 2 minutes, there is no way to validate that.
There's no way to validate.
Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it. There's no way to validate only. Anyone else? How do I validate? So what I do, when I started practicing for world champion of public speaking, by any chance, there's a world champion of public speaking for adults. 130 countries participated in that competition. Do you know that? No idea. It's worth you know that, right? Toastmasters. So I remember last 2019, I reaching the quarterfinals of that, and within my capacity, I was trying to understand the dynamics of communication. See, it's not worth validating. It's like you are a singer and then you are continuously validating whether the person is really understanding the swaras or not. I'm a singer, imagine, and people are sitting in front of me. Everyone will receive that song differently based upon the understanding of that person about the singing, or maybe the emotion attached with the song. Maybe there's a song which it reminds me about my friend or girlfriend or a boy or a girl that I look towards differently. Agree? Am I making sense? Similarly, whenever you speak in front of people, moment you stand in front of more than one person, there is a very weak chance of validation. It's impossible to do that. There's no logic of focusing on the audience when you are actually giving some scripted talk. Pitches are the scripted talk. Agree? Whenever you pitch, sometimes scripted talk is not about those talks which you have written, practiced, rehearsed, delivered. I'm not talking about those scripted talks. Even if I walk for a moment here and I have a line in my mind, it's still scripted. Still scripted. So make sure next time when you are speaking, the language, I agree. The second is, don't focus on the audience. Don't focus on the audience. What do you mean by that? Don't focus on the audience doesn't mean you show the back. You look towards the audience, they will feel that, oh, I'm interested. No, don't focus. That doesn't mean that I'm not focusing on you guys, right? Don't focus on the audience, because, understand this now. What I've learned and observed, no matter who you are, if 100 people are sitting in front of you, there will be at least 1% people, they might be looking and thinking in their mind, what nonsense is going on? Kya bol raha hai? Is he really making? That's the reason I sometimes really validate. Am I making any sense or not to you guys? What nonsense? Doesn't matter. I remember I saying this several times in my live webinars, and one of my friends, she became my friend later on. She said, Praveen, this one line has changed my life. I said, which line? He said that 1% people will be always there who will not like you. I said, why it has changed your life? She said, because my husband is there in 1%. I said, what do you mean by that? See, just because 1% is not liking you, that doesn't mean that you should do injustice with 99% people. Just because 1% snakes are poisonous, unnecessarily we are killing 99% snakes. Less than 1% spiders are actually harmful. We are killing everyone. Similarly, in human beings, there's no need for validation. The world is full of good people. They are listening to you. They are listening to you. They're there to listen to you only. You guys are there to listen to me only. So I don't have this fear in my mind. So no need of validation, because if you try to validate, then that will trigger fear. वो ऐसा क्यों कर रहा है? अच्छा उसने तो यौन किया अभी, अरे वो तो सो रहा है, अरे वो बाहर चला गया. Am I good enough or not? Am I really making sense whatever I am saying? That will trigger fear, which everyone has. Everyone has fears in their life. Fear is nothing but a thought. And the moment you have that thought in your mind, that am I worth speaking? Whatever the content I am saying, is it worth listening? Gone. You're done. Your body language will be different. You are the different person then on the stage. And your friend will say, कि ये ऐसा क्यों बात कर रहा है? She doesn't speak like that. He doesn't speak like that. Suddenly, you might have seen people go on the stage and speak differently only. ये क्या हो गया इसको? Right? Don't focus on the audience. Focus on your language, I understand. But don't focus on the audience. Right? When I say don't focus on the audience, don't worry about that 1% people. 99% people are good. Second aspect of communication. Third aspect of communication, then we'll open for Q&A on communication, which is very important, which I've learned in my life, especially when I started traveling in mountains. So I don't remember going to home. I doubt I will go home to Bombay. My family, they come to mountains. They meet me there only. One thing which I've learned in mountains about communication, people who have command on language, number one. People who have learned the skills, the basic skills of language, of communication, like body language or vocal variety. When I say learn, they have gone on the stage again and again, again and again, again and again. They really understand the importance of picking the stories from their life. Now, what do you mean by story? Story is not like a wall. Let me share a story now. Then that will help you to understand what do you mean by story. Many times people, they tell the phase of their life and they say this is a story. That I did my graduation and then I was in the office and then the rest of it. That's not the story. Story always has certain learning hidden in this, whatever we are sharing. Let me share a story. Have you heard about piggy bank story of my life? Piggy bank story? No? Let me give a quick example as a reference. Then you will understand what is the story, what do you mean by story, and why storytelling is so important in entrepreneurship. If you can't tell your story, you can't sell your story. Story sells. People buy stories. But what do you mean by story? So I remember when me and my wife, when we started this Takaiser 2011, it took us 1 year almost to lose everything, whatever we had earned. 10 years of corporate journey. So in 10 years, you learn a lot, you earn little, but whatever we had earned, it took us 1 year to lose everything. We lost everything, which was a part of entrepreneurship. Losing everything is one phase in entrepreneurship. But there was a moment in my life where I thought, have I taken the correct decision or not? Is entrepreneurship really for me or not? Am I really going to make something big in my life or not if I continue entrepreneurship. So that moment came. And what is that moment? There's a story hidden in that moment. So I was sitting in the office, and in those days hardly 4 to 5 or 10 to 12 people were there in the office. And suddenly someone said, Praveen, you have a meeting today. I said, okay. So I took my bag, I came outside. Then I realized that from that place to Bandra BKC, I have to take at least a cab or rickshaw and go to maybe the station, local, and then reach there. So I wanted 20 rupees to do that, at least to take a rickshaw. So I started searching. And I knew when I was searching that I didn't have 20 rupees in my pocket. So I called my wife outside, hey, come here. I said, by any chance, do you have 20 rupees in your pocket? So sometimes in relationship, you don't need words to speak. Eye contact is enough. So as if in that silence, she was screaming that, Praveen, in last 1 year, we have lost everything dear. Just not our bank balance, just not our gold or PF or gratuity. Even we sold refrigerator, washing machine, sofa. We're enjoying life. We're doing all this. And she said, I don't have. She turned back. I decided to go home. So in Mumbai, if you see in societies, you have those galas down. So my office was there only. So I reached home. I opened the door. My son was sitting down. I was 7 years old. He was playing with some plastic toys. And then I started searching the 20 rupees in the hall. It was not there. So I entered in kitchen because Indian ladies have a habit of keeping something somewhere. So I thought, let me search. I will find it. It was not there. Then I entered into bedroom, and as soon as I entered into bedroom, I saw this beautiful round yellow color piggy bank of my son. You know those piggy bank with a smile on it. It was there on the window, AC window. And I thought, yeah, I remember giving him money several times. It must be there, 20 rupees. So I just moved towards it, and then one thought came in my mind that my son is sitting outside. What if he comes and he asks me, why you are taking money from my piggy bank? And I stopped. I turned back and I closed the door. And then I realized for the first time in my life, a father is robbing the piggy bank of his own 6 years old son. I took that 20 rupees, started walking on the road. Then I realized that what should I do now? Yeah? It's like done. Like it's a matter of one call to my previous boss. Hey boss, at the time of resigning, you were saying that doors are always open for you. Praveen, come back. Shall I come back again? Or shall I just move forward? That is the moment in your life. If in entrepreneurship journey, if that moment is not coming, how do you check your metal? How do you check your soil? Unless and until you're not stretching yourself to that limit. So fortunately, I was able to stretch myself to that limit very early in my life. Now, why this is an example of a story? If you see critically as a student of communication or storytelling, there are always 3 parts of the story. The first part we say called setup. You cannot tell a story if you're not taking the audience in the past. So I took you in the past, like me and my wife were doing this, we started the journey, we started entrepreneurship journey. That's always setup. Without the setup, story is meaningless. So if you're creating a pitch about your product, unless and until you're not telling why you conceived that idea, what was the setup, in 1 line, 2 line, that's it. One of the easiest setups line is, I remember last night I was in Haridwar. If something has happened there. So the first component of storytelling is always the setup component. Without the setup, story is incomplete. You can't jumble the sequence also. The second component of the story is the struggle. People are not interested in a story if there is no struggle. It's not at all a story only then. There has to be a struggle. We'll talk more about struggle component. The third component is success. And success has nothing to do with the money what you have earned. The success is what is the learning from that, whatever struggle you have. If you are struggling, you are learning. Let's come back to struggle, then we'll come to success. I was giving a session somewhere, and the principal, after the session, someone said, Praveen, principal is calling you in the cabin. I said, okay. And principal said, Praveen, I would like to share something with you. I said, what? She said, I'm not from this place, I'm from Bangalore. I said, okay. And then she said, Praveen, when I got married, everything was good, but almost for 4 to 5 years, when I was not able to conceive, we decided to consult a doctor. And doctor said, there's nothing wrong with you. Your husband has to go to some medical test. So husband has gone through medical test, and it was very clear that the problem is in the husband. So they have decided to go for IVF, and they conceived. They have taken the consent from everyone in the family within their capacity, especially in-laws and everyone. So they conceived, and first trimester was absolutely okay. But the second trimester, I don't know why, she said, my husband has conceived this thought that this baby is not mine. And when the thought has come, it can kill you. And that thought started perpetuating, the thought started growing like a tree. I could see the impact of that thought on my in-laws also, and they started abusing me. And towards the end of the second trimester, it got violent. And he hit me in the stomach. So I decided to move from there to save my baby. Whole night I traveled all the way to Ahmedabad. I reached my mother's place. I went to the hospital in the middle of the night, and doctor declared that baby died. And then I decided to fight. I filed a divorce. And now I'm an independent person. I completed my education. I'm the principal of this college now. And I said, I have a question for you, ma'am. She said, what? Have you shared this story with anyone? And what is the answer? Tell me, what is the answer? No. I said, no. I said, why? Why your students are not aware about this story? Why your colleagues are not aware about this story? And then she said something because of which people do not share stories. It's so painful when I see people speaking like this. They try to give sympathy. Just last night, I was at one place in Roper. 15 years old girl got heart transplant. 15 years old. She's on immunosuppressant. And me, Manjeet were there only at that place. And within our capacity, I was trying to understand what's going in her heart. I was cracking jokes also that, tera dil koi nahi tod sakta yaar. You don't have your own heart only. I was on that page, I was cracking. But when me and Manjeet were just trying to understand, we're talking about it, I said the biggest problem that girl has now is the unnecessary sympathy people are giving to her, reminding her every time again and again about that heart transplant. You know what is the problem of heart transplant? The problem of heart transplant that the heart transplant has a life of only 10 to 15 years. She's 15 years old. She has access to internet. And she said, I want to learn. She's learning Taekwondo. She's doing good 10 standard. I said, for a moment, can you just keep that story aside? I don't want any sympathy. So, stories, whatever happening in her life, if there is a struggle, there is a story. Within my capacity, I will make sure that that girl is standing on the TEDx stage and sharing her story. She is ready. Parents are not ready mentally. Moment there is a struggle, there is a story. The 15 years old girl or maybe 40 years old principal madam, the reason why they are not sharing the struggle with the world, they have the same answer, not my perception. I asked them why. They said, we don't want sympathy. So struggle has to be there. I've given example, 2 examples, or 3 examples of struggle. If there is no struggle in your life, you're wasting life, I must tell you, respectfully. There has to be struggle in your life. Third, what is the success? Whatever we are learning from the struggle, what I've learned from this 15 years old girl, it's my learning. You meet, you will learn something else. Same from principle. Each and everyone might be learning something else from the piggy bank story. No idea. So you have no control on learning whenever you share a story. The worst line in storytelling is the moral of the story is this. What nonsense, yeah. You might have learned whatever you have learned, yeah. Why do I tell what is whatever you have learned from the story? Whatever it is. So always focus on setup, struggle, and the success whenever you are sharing the story in this sequence. So one aspect is English. If you are in India, you have to speak in English. Other aspect is very important in your life is the storytelling, right? Third aspect which we have discussed is, what was the third aspect in communication we have discussed? Huh? One is the language. The second is storytelling. Third? Huh?
Don't validate.
That is the easiest way to overcome the fear of public speaking. Don't validate. जाओ ना यार, तो कर रहा हूँ जो करना है, मैं मुझे बोलने दो यार. Right? Within my capacity, I have tried my best that I keep my organized content organized. I have practiced. I have done my everything. Within my capacity, I have written a 2-minute speech, 3-minute speech. I have done everything. I don't care because I'm pure. I have worked hard. I don't care what you think about me. In a very good way, not in a bad way, not in a rebellious way. So I don't care. I'm focused on my content. Clear? Any questions before we move forward on someone which has really played a vital role in communication? That is Dale Carnegie. We'll talk more about Dale Carnegie and Andrew Carnegie. Anyone, any questions, any doubts? क्या चल रहा है दिमाग में? Give me access to what questions going in your mind. Yeah, anyone? There has to be something going in your mind, a statement, a question. Give me the flavor of that.
सर अगर वैलिडेट नहीं करेंगे तो फीडबैक कैसे मिलेगा?
See, validate होता है आपके बोलने के बाद में, validate पहले नहीं होता है. मैं बता रहा हूँ कैसा, आप कहाँ और मैं कहाँ हूँ. When I am speaking, at the same time, if I'm trying to validate what are you thinking, I'm on that page. Now I'm validating. Now I'm taking feedback. मैंने बताओ ना क्या चल रहा है, शांत एकदम. Give me some validation. Give me some sense what's going in your mind. Correct? But when you are speaking, for example, अगर कोई सर बाहर चले गए, there are two ways of looking to this incident. अरे क्यों चले गए बाहर? क्यों चले गए बाहर? और उनका काम हुआ कोई बाहर चले गए. If I start keep thinking that only, then I will not able to focus on the content. And at one point of time, you can stay focused only on one thing, or not two things. So validate करो. सवाल से, जैसे मैंने एक सवाल पूछा उनसे, tell me, give me access. What's going in your mind? Any question on communication, or public speaking, or anything else, or fear of public speaking, or life? Tell me. Give me a question.
Sir, in the process of communication where the self-analysis stands.
Very complicated question. I mean, self-analysis is a different thing. What do you mean by self-analysis? How do I analyze myself, that how I'm communicating? Are you talking about that self-analysis?
Yes. Or after talk, I went to my room and I.
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very nice question. See, let's create a scenario. The scenario is that you are giving a talk, right? You are giving a talk. Imagine that you are giving a TEDx talk, correct? Now you want to validate, self-validate, self-evaluate. Have I done good or not? Fair? Yeah. The first thing which I always used to do, and I will still love to do that, is after the session I always make myself available for the audience. If audience is coming to you, talking to you, if audience is saying hi, bye, thanks for coming, so on the scale I will give you 1, self-evaluation, 1, right? What kind of conversation? So thank you very much for coming. अच्छा लगा सर आके. So मैं आपके videos देखता हूँ. After the talk, not before the talk. If this is the quality of conversation, right? 1. Maybe second is audience is coming and audience is talking about your sir क्या body language है sir, style में बात किया, or no, all that, right? So I like your body language, and maybe out 2, right? Because you are not there to show your body language and vocal variety. You are there to speak something which is worth listening. Third, अगर कोई बंदा आता है आपके पास में, and that person starts speaking about something which is relevant to your topic, खुद से आके. Imagine, मैं एक बार, we were talking about game of trust. So as a traveler, I trust people very blindly. It's like you tell me that go there, I will go there, come with you, I will come with you. And everything is recorded. So there's something called game of trust. So we used to do game of trust sessions in corporates. So many times people used to come and they used to say, हाँ मैंने भी ऐसा किया था. Even I have done this. Even I have traveled there, even I trusted someone and the rest of it. Third, people are talking relevant to your topic. Very relevant to your topic. And the fourth, there is a talk on TEDx called SWM, someone watching me disease. There's a disease which is very common, someone watching me, koi dekh raha mujhe. And I remember I was giving this talk, and the whole idea is that no one is watching you. World is busy. World is busy, no one is watching you. No one is focusing on you. So in that talk, after the talk when I was down, someone came to me and he said, Praveen, I remember attending these kind of sessions many times, and always after the session I used to feel that I should go to speakers and trainers and coaches and speak to them, talk to them, take their views. But then I used to feel that I'm not doing good in my life. People will watch, बोले क्या कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, फालतू क्या time waste कर रहा है लोगों का. I used to have those kind of thoughts. I never used to go. But then I realized that nahi yaar, I should go. When people start taking action on whatever you are advising, suggesting or putting on the table, that's the best way to self-evaluate. People can take action on your words only if people are understanding your words. And world is at the peak of miscommunication, I must tell you that. We are just living under illusion that people are really understanding whatever we are speaking, at the peak of miscommunication. So to be very precise answer to your question, which is a very nice question, the best way to self-evaluate, have I really done good or not, when you see people taking action on whatever you are suggesting. Okay? Any other question? Any other doubt about public speaking? How many are from here doing research? On what, sir? Renewals. Okay, but please sit and have a seat. What about you? Drug delivery. Okay, so micro drug deliveries or encapsulations. Okay. What about you guys? Yeah, you three sitting together. Huh? Engineering. Are you in which year? First year. Ah, you guys are chilling out here. Any other question on communication before we move on Andrew Carnegie and Dale Carnegie? Yeah.
Basically, many events and many TEDx speeches which I've heard about, and also many stories on social media. So what it is, I think is that the struggle stories are getting very mainstream, and also many fake struggle stories are also coming. So how to spot them? I mean,
Why to spot them? But उतना क्यों काम करना है? Are you talking about TV?
I mean,
I'm not on social media.
The entire social media, if you see, so the general trend is that everybody is talking about struggle. That I did so much of struggle, I did so much of struggle. So that parameter scaling is only not available at this point of time. But I believe that's my personal opinion. I mean, so.
So do you want to change that opinion?
Oh no, I'm trying changing, but as you said that the focus should be on the struggle. I mean, you should just speak about your struggle. So I mean, I wanted to know more about the reason behind
reason behind
firm
that.
reason.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So the only reason I'm strongly suggesting, recommending that there has to be if you're telling a story of 100 words, around 70 words has to be a struggle only. Maybe 10 words about the setup and 20 words about the success. No struggle, no learnings. आप struggle नहीं करते हो life में तो कहाँ से सीखोगे? What do you mean by struggle? Struggle means you are doing something for the first time in your life. ठीक है? अभी आप बोल रहे हो कि how do I identify whether the struggle is authentic or not? Why do I do that? I'm talking about yourself. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about if you have to share a story of entrepreneurship, or if you want to pitch an idea, and if you really want to put your content in such a way that it's worth listening and worth understanding, then the easiest way is tell a story. And there has to be authentic struggle in that. दुनिया क्या करे में क्या करेगा उससे? what should I do? I have no control on the world. So personally, I don't have a TV. Personally, we are not on social media. We are there on social media, but I personally don't invest time on social media. Sometimes we watch news as entertainment. Like पहाड़ों में बोर हो गया ना, मैं और मंजीत बोलते हैं चला news देखेगा, right? And we just watch news for 5 minutes. Oh, मजा आ गया news देख के. So news for us is an entertainment. So fortunately, after spending 16 years in Mumbai, I completely agree with you. Difficult to differentiate. So it's easy to leave. So मैंने छोड़ दिया सब. So to be very precise answer to your question, I don't see any yardstick to differentiate between authentic stories, authentic struggles, or non-authentic struggles. However, being a student of communication, I will strongly recommend that learn how to tell a story with the help of setup, struggle, and success. A simple formula, which will ensure the one thing which he was suggesting, engaging. How to engage the audience. The story is the best way to engage the audience. Okay. Let's come on Andrew Carnegie and Dale Carnegie. Have you heard about Dale Carnegie? Just show your hand, Dale Carnegie. Have you heard about Andrew Carnegie? No? Have you heard about Andrew Carnegie? In relation with what?
Sir, he was one of the richest persons in America.
True, I agree with that. So what happened when I started learning communication, someone has to give me a timer. At what time we are closing? Someone has to give me a timer. It's what time?
It's
5 p.m. 5. And what time we are closing? 5:30. Will you help me? 5:30? Just tell me, shut your mouth from 5:30. So Dale Carnegie, when I fall in love with communication, I heard about Dale Carnegie, I was talking about Dale Carnegie, I was reading Dale Carnegie, and suddenly I heard this story about Andrew Carnegie. And then I realized that, is this the better story to understand communication? Andrew Carnegie was the guy who suddenly became so rich. He attracted the attention of US government, the federal. And suddenly they said, he was from 18th century. And in 18th century, this US was going through this whole industrialization and that whole process. And everyone was struggling. Everyone was trying to set up the businesses. And suddenly this guy came and he became the richest, as he said. He became in a very quick time. So federal government, they set up the panel to evaluate and investigate his business model. They invested their time, energy, money, resources, and they said there's nothing wrong in his business model. So they called him. And Andrew Carnegie was sitting, and the Senate, the panel was sitting on the stage, and then they said, tell us, how are you doing it? What is the magic formula? And Andrew Carnegie said, I have one skill because of which I am doing whatever I am doing. He said, I can focus on one thing for 5 minutes. So all the panelists, they said, oh, what's the big deal in that here? There has to be something else. So Andrew Carnegie, after a little discussion, they said, okay, let's do this. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Not you guys. Andrew Carnegie said to those people, just close your eyes. And just try to focus on one thing for, maybe 2 minutes. Not 5 minutes, just 2 minutes. And with the timer, after 2 minutes, he asked people to open their eyes. And he asked, did you able to focus on one thing for 2 minutes? And they said, no. As Andrew said that you should not be handling US then, if you can't focus. Andrew Carnegie, if you follow this guy, he has actually mastered with something which many people, those who are successful, they have mastered. What do you mean by focus? Focus means you are detaching your emotions from that object. Moment you have an emotion attached to that object, you cannot focus. Emotion will take you in the memory. Let's try to understand that now. Imagine if this bottle has been given to me by my wife. If I hold this bottle in my hand, then my emotions, I will think about my wife. Natural? Natural, if it is given to my wife. If there's an emotion attached to it. Moment I detach the emotion and stay focused only on the bottle, that is a plastic bottle, water in it, and then I can actually focus. Now I can see actually there is diamonds also on this bottle. Otherwise, I don't see. I was not able to focus. How do we improve focus? Anyone? My question is, if focus is so important, without focus we can't do anything. Something which is impossible if you focus. If you focus, it's possible. We know that, right? How do I improve focus? How do I practice? How do I improve focus? What do you
Why
mean
say
by
interest and passion?
What do you mean by meditation, by the way? I've never understood this word, meditation. Anyone, what is meditation?
Staying at a trying to like disconnect.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Controlling your breath. When you do jogging without music, then you control your breath, then you know that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
No, this you know, or you have practiced this, or you are aware about this?
I'm aware and I'm practicing.
You are practicing this, okay. Anyone, yeah.
So basically meditation is like detaching from emotion, just focus on something.
How do I do that?
Like for example, you are sitting and like close your eyes for some time and just forgetting about each and everything or the emotions going in the mind and then
How do I
just
practice that? You're telling me the theory, I'm in the practical room. How do I practice that?
just close eyes and focus on the breathing.
Okay, so close your eyes, focus on breathing, and you're done. Okay. Anyone else? Have you heard about Vipassana meditation?
Concentration. It talks about concentration.
Yeah, but how do I practice concentration? See, you guys were talking about communication. I said, okay, there are multiple dimensions in communication. First, you want to communicate, you have to practice language. Second, you want to communicate, you have to ensure that detach yourself from the audience. Audience is always busy in their life. Focus on your content. Don't look for validation. They love you. One person is always there to hate you. Except that one person, focus on 99. Practice, right? Third, I told you that make sure, tell a story. And I've told you that, okay, this is the way of telling a story. Setup, struggle, success. I've given something which is implementable. Which you can implement, which you can do that, you can practice that. You can go inside the room and you can write, this is setup, this is struggle, this is success. Within your capacity, everyone can do that. How do I practice concentration? Tell me, I want to learn how to practice concentration. How do I practice that?
Developing interest and passion, or
See, if I'm able to concentrate, if I'm able to focus, that will help me in my passion. That will help me in my love. That's an application of focus and concentration. If I'm good in public speaking, it will help me in pitching my idea in front of people. That's an application of public speaking. I'm one step behind. I'm saying, how do I develop that skill only? By?
By knowing all the elements of the subject.
Okay. So this is something which I've learned in Vipassana. How do you improve your focus or concentration? So it was 2016 or 17. I thought there is a buzzword called meditation, meditation, meditation. Everyone is learning meditation. Let me learn meditation. So I started searching on Google and I found something called Vipassana. So Vipassana is the purest form of meditation which Gautam Buddha used to teach 2500 years ago. So 2500 years ago, when Gautam realized this, he was a human being. His relics are there in Mumbai, in one of this Vipassana center. So when Gautam realized this, that there's only one way of living life. I don't say there's any other way. And he was not the first person to realize this. It is written in Buddhavani. Buddhavani is the name of the book which is written by people who were with Gautam at that point of time. He must be a human being, must be sitting with people, right? Talking. They must be talking something. I always wish that Gautam should have, he should have Zoom and all, so he would have reached more number of people, right? Unfortunately, that point of time it was not there. So he started traveling and meeting kings and influencers so they can disseminate his knowledge more and more. That was the whole strategy of Gautam Buddha. But what was the realization of Gautam Buddha? Realization was this, which he said, it has to be a practical, implementable, something which I can give, you can practice. So if you go to Vipassana center, the first day what they will do, they will ask you to focus on your breath. In, out, in, out, in, out. Now see how he's playing, huh? Gautam Buddha, right? In, out, in, out, in, out. So when entire day, when you do that, you can just focus on your breathing, in, out, in, out, in, out. You will be able to focus. It's like 4 a.m. till 9 p.m. You get your first meal at 7:30, second meal at 11:30, no meals after that. You are not allowed to speak even a single word for 10 days. You can't do anything. You just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. First day. So first 2 days, when you do that, you develop some kind of excellence on focusing on your breath. So you can actually see that not every time we are breathing from both the nostrils. Sometimes we breathe from here, sometimes we breathe from here, sometimes from both. And it changes from various parts of the day. You can actually feel the stream of that air coming and touching this part of your lips, like a turbo stream. You can feel क्या करेगा दिन भर वही करेगा तो वही देखेगा और क्या करेगा. So you can feel that. Now he says, okay, now let's move forward. Gautam says, let's move forward. Now you have learned how to focus. Okay? Now let's take this skill and try to focus on every part of your body, start from the top of your head. And suddenly for the first time in my life, I realized that it's possible, yeah. I can actually focus on the top of my head. And then scan the body, throughout your body, just with the help of your thoughts. Okay. And then he says that, okay, now there are reactions going on in your body. I said, yes. Goosebump is a reaction. At this point of time, we all know it's a biochemical reaction, nothing else. It's a biochemical, every micro moment we are changing, we know that, right? It's a reaction going on. It's like the person who is taking a dip in the water and the person who is coming out from that dip. These are two different people. We know that. That's the truth. We might be busy in our life in multiple things, but we cannot deny the truth. We're changing every second. There's a reaction going on, your life. So he said there is a reaction in your body. Observe those reactions now. So almost for 2 to 3 days, instead of focusing only on breath, you scan your body top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to 3, 4 days, nothing else. In that, he said, now if you critically observe your reactions, there are certain good reactions and there are certain bad reactions. If you're sitting whole day like this, there will be a bad reaction in your back, right? Of course, the muscle will pain. Or there are some tingling effects in your head, tingling effects in your hand, which you like it. So there are good reactions, and yeah, there are bad reactions. Now he says that, okay, you have to practice now. Whenever you're observing the good reaction, don't react. Very good, I want more, give me more. Don't react. Just observe it's a good reaction. And if there is a bad reaction, don't react. Arey, it's a bad reaction, I don't want. Don't react. Now almost from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th day, we just practice how to stay equanimous, or there's a word, beautiful word in Hindi called samta. Samta mein rehna. Samta mein rehna, jo bhi ho raha theek hai. Aisa waisa hai. The very meaning of Vipassana is the way it is, it is. So he says that just observe good reaction, it's a good reaction. Bad reaction. Don't react to it. So almost for 4 to 5 days, he will make you practice to stay equanimous. 8th and 9th day, then there is a twist. He played it very strategically. The twist is, he said, now you have understood there is a biochemical reaction in your body. Now you have practiced also how to stay equanimous. But don't you feel that you are nothing but biochemical reaction? And if that's the truth, then what is the logic of this me, my, possessions and all that page? Then towards the end of the Vipassana, he will take you on that page, where within his capacity, he will try to detach you from unnecessary and then make your life big by doing something which is big. Something which can make this world a better place to live. Something which engineers can construct. Something which doctors can save. I'm so happy that 15 years old child, yaar, usko mila heart, yaar. And I know after 15 years, the system will be so advanced that she will live many years, just like me and you. Do something like that. From there, he said that in life, if you really want to stay a blissful life, you have to practice this only. Whatever happening in your life, stay equanimous. but you need to practice that. It's not understand कि मैं समझ गया अभी. When I learned boxing, my coach said that, Praveen, you have learned how to stand, but that doesn't mean that now you can fight. There's a difference between understanding and practicing. So Vipassana is all about meditating by observing your body reactions, good and bad, to stay equanimous. So something which is happening in your life outside, you stay equanimous. Boyfriend छोड़ दिया ना, ठीक है छोड़ दिया यार. Girlfriend छोड़ दिया नहीं, अच्छे मार्क्स आए. नंबर 1 आ गया, वर्ल्ड में आ गया नंबर 1 है, ठीक है बस खत्म. नहीं तो बहुत सेलिब्रेट किए जा रहे हैं, बहुत रोए जा रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं. Stay equanimous. That's the only way to live life as per him. Any other question which is stopping, which is थोड़ा struggle है life में, going in mom, what is life, ये उस type वाले questions है कुछ? क्यों आए हैं दुनिया में, क्या करेंगे, क्या है life? Any other questions on that page?
Sir, you talked about the focus
Mhm.
from communication.
Hmm.
So focus means itself, it is all about me. And I'm saying I want to achieve some goals, so I have to focus on that. And the whole process is between me and the goal.
Focus is not that. Very respectfully. You cannot focus on something which is not there. Your goal is always in the future. Focus is now. खत्म अभी. बस उतना ही.
It is all for goals.
Yeah, but you cannot achieve something if you are not leveraging whatever available right now.
But it is starting from me itself only.
It has to start from you only. I'm not denying that. But imagine if I have to solve the problem, right? I cannot solve the problem if I don't see what are the resources available now. There's always enough resources available which can be leveraged to solve any problem. Right? Abhi, even in entrepreneurship. So you cannot stay focused on the goal. You have to stay focused always on the moment. Abhi क्या है? Dream है, भूल जाओ. Decide कर लिया ना goal. भूल जाओ goal. If you keep thinking about your dreams and goals, that's wastage of time. Always now. अभी यहाँ क्या? अभी एकदम. Life is now, not even after 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Now only. बस मुझे अभी मजा आ रहा है बस. I have no idea what is going to happen. अभी मजा है. The person who is in the now, he is the person who is actually living the life because he is the person who has access to the resources which are available now. Abhi hai. You getting your point? So it's not about focusing on you. It's about focusing. You cannot focus on yourself. It's about focusing on the moment. खाना भी खा रहा है ना. There's something called mindful eating. It's like sometimes I've seen people eating banana like this. I know कहाँ से कहाँ चला गया भाई banana खा के ही. Because it's completely focusing on banana. You getting your point? Am I making any sense to you? So focus now. But practice that. Expecting that to happen with you, that I will start focusing in my life without practicing, is as good as you expecting that I will go on the stage and without any practice I will start speaking, or I go inside the swimming pool without any practice I start swimming. It doesn't happen like that in reality. No skill. I think we are so fortunate that we can develop any skill. But any skill is always time and repetition. Take any skill, it's time and repetition. More and more time, more and more repetition, you are more and more skillful. You might have heard about 10,000 hours formula and all that. But time and repetition, without skill, even focus, even conscious breathing. It's like many of us, we don't use even 20 to 30% of our lungs capacity. Right? We have come, unfortunately, we are the only species on the planet Earth who has developed heart attacks. You know that, right? Have you heard about donkey dying because of heart attack? Donkey dying because of heart attack? No. We die. We have invented this disease, by the way. I was in Brahmor in mountains, and I was actually at Manjeet's home. And this is absolutely on the top of the mountain where in the winter season you will have ice this much. And I was sitting with her mother, and she said, Praveen, I'm not eating rice. I said, what happened? And she said, Praveen, diabetes. So I asked him that, hey, how many people you have in your village? Around 100. How many people have diabetes? Almost 15 to 16 people diabetes. 15 to 16 people. So there's one doctor called Dr. Vandana from Surat. I was just speaking to her that day, and she said, Praveen, in my life, in last 6 to 7 months, I don't remember getting so many cases of neonatal diabetes. Again invented by us. So within our capacity, human beings are making everything possible to eradicate this species. Within our कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं पूरे. And the only reason behind this is food, which is not the today's topic. Will not go on food. And when I say food, I'm not talking about junk food and all. We don't eat correctly only. Example, you might be eating salad along with food, right? It's like poison for your stomach. Your stomach cannot digest raw food and cooked food together. It's not possible for your stomach. It's very difficult. Your unnecessarily spoiling your stomach. Or you might be eating rice and chapati together, right? They don't go with each other. Wheat and rice. You might be eating rice in pressure cooker, right? If you cook rice in pressure cooker, the starch is always in the rice, which is not good for your body. So eating is a completely different topic. We will not talk about that, but eating is playing a vital role in degrowth of our country. You go to mountains, kids are eating Lay's and Pepsi. Top of the mountains. So within a capacity, we are trying our best so that we don't grow. We'll not go there today. Okay, any other questions before we run out of time? About studies, about life, about relationships. One thing I must tell you, how much time we have? 10. One thing I must tell you, when I left my home, Mumbai, one of the most commonly asked questions in my life is that, Praveen, what about your wife? What about your son? And what about your parents? I've taken care of all of my relationships. All of my relationships. And the only reason I could able to do that because I'm a student of communication. So every time whenever we fight, me and my wife, towards the end of the fight, I always say this, see, we are friends first. Right? We met in 11th standard. So I said, we are friends first, then the husband and wife. And if it's going beyond the limits, the fights, which has to go. If the two people are living together, there has to be a difference of opinion. If two people are living together and there's too much of sweetness, they are manipulating it. They are manipulating it. One person is not sharing the viewpoint, either manipulating it or sugarcoating it. Fortunately, me and my wife, we are both very straightforward in talks. So, which is the essence of communication. You have to be straightforward. Whatever here is here. No processing here. Don't make this pen drive. This is not the storage. So, the easiest way, the easiest line, which is helping in my relationship, my romantic relationship, and then I will come on other relationships. I always say this to my wife that the way I don't leave my mother, I don't leave you. The way I love my mother, I love you also. I don't look towards my marriage like this. I don't look towards my mother like this, that okay, I have a difference of opinion and I'm leaving. No. So marriage for me is always 1 + 1 = 11. Two people coming together and they want to do something which alone can't be done. That's marriage for me. It's like in the history, two kings were there and these two kings decided that to make an alliance, so one has the boy, one has the girl. For the first time in the history, they decided to marry. So the whole reason of marriage was the alliance for the benefit. So we become big, so we are strong and people won't attack. That's the essence of marriage. Two strong people are coming together to become the strongest. My 16-year-old son, I have never asked him that what he wants to become in his life. That's not in my area of interest. 16 years old, but I remember when he was practicing for JEE, me and my wife were outside, were in front of counselor, and he came outside and he said, Dad, will I be able to do this? JEE and all. I said, you are getting marks, you're in 80s and 90s. I have seen that. I have seen that you are chilling with your friends. I have seen you are going outside. I have understood that you have a girlfriend now. I have accepted that. I think within my capacity, I can see that if you decide, you can do it. So I think you can do it, son. That's my point of view. Take your mother's point of view separately. So my relationship with my son is very blissful. Fortunately, my wife is also a mountaineer. My son is also a mountaineer. My wife is advanced HMI certified mountaineer. My son, he did his first trek when he was 10 years old, and that too without parents, that too Himalayan trek, Brigu Lake. My parents left me long back, so they are, fortunately, I'm blessed with this understanding of my parents that if kids have to fly, parents have to leave them. No other country does this. I was in Dharamshala that day and I was sitting with a Israeli family, and they were so unpleasantly surprised when they came to know that parents here sometimes, they stop kids from going out. You know, in Israel, after education, it's 2.5 years of army compulsory. And after 2.5 years, most of them, they travel across the world. I am suggesting, or we should suggest that even that should be compulsory. I will be so happy if my son starts traveling right now also. When you travel, you meet people, or you meet people as if you are reading a book. It's the fastest way of learning. You get access to people's wisdom. You find people who can listen to you. You can find people with whom you can share your stories, or you can listen to their stories. I can't imagine life without traveling. Traveling is something which is as important as breathing for me, and it should be for everyone. But the point I'm making, the last point I'm making, that no matter who you are, if you're not taking care of your relationships, life is not good. Take care of your relationships. And the easiest way to take care of your relationship is communication. Words. Each and every word, whenever you speak, be careful. Make sure that you have enough emotions, enough expressions behind each and every word. True expressions, not forceful expressions. But if you're calm here, you don't have to learn vocal variety. If you're calm here, you don't have to learn body language. Not required. So take care of your communication. It will take care of your business also. It will take care of your relationships also. If money is there in the bank, and if people are there along with you to share that money, maybe via food, maybe via travel, maybe doing something adventurous, life is good. Okay. With this, thanks for your time. Thank you very much. Hope we have done with the time. Oh, 5 minutes? Give me a 5 minutes time. Okay? Any question? Last 5 minutes. Done from? Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, communication is a very integral part of life. So, beginning से अपन बहुत सारी चीजें अपने आप से सीखते हैं, तो बहुत सारी गलत चीजें भी सीख लेते हैं उसमें. तो जो गलत चीजें हैं उनको अनलर्न कैसे करते हैं? मतलब वो जब नया कुछ सीखते हैं तो उसके बीच में हर्डल आ जाती है कि अपन सीखते तो है बट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के टाइम आदत है तो जो गलत चीजें हैं वही implement.
See, first thing, there's a difference between walking and running. Similarly, there's a difference between speaking and talking. Anyone can walk. Anyone can walk. But if I ask you to run 21 kilometers in less than 2 hours, will you be able to do that? No, right? Anyone can talk. But if I ask you to go on the stage and speak in a very organized way, in such a way that people get influenced, you will not be able to do that, right? Running is the extension of walking. Speaking is the extension of talking. Unless and until you are not appointing a person or you are not learning from a coach, you cannot run 21 kilometers in less than 2 hours. I'm a half marathon runner. It takes at least 3 to 4 months of good practice to actually do it sub 2 hours. So first, come out from this illusion, very carefully using this word illusion. Come out from this illusion that you have learned swimming, learned speaking, learned running. No, nahi sikha hai bhai. Unless and until you don't accept that, it doesn't happen. Talking is different. So you do not have to worry about unlearn and all. You must be having Toastmasters here, right? Is there a Toastmasters in IIT? Is there any speaking club in IIT? There has to be a speaking. See, the worst part of speaking is that how do I practice public speaking? There has to be a club where people are sitting together. One person come on the stage and the person speaks from a practice point of view. And there has to be evaluator. In entrepreneurship, nothing more important than what I am doing right now, separating yourself from the crowd, standing alone and speaking. Is there anything more important? Tomorrow when you will have a team of 100 people, how you speak in front of them, that will define whether you have a team or a family or a good bunch of jokers. Am I making sense? So it's very important for you guys to have at least a club, we'll talk about it, at least a club where people can come and practice speaking in a very organized, in a template way. If there is no repetition, there is no skill only. So there are various things in public speaking where you have to repeat, and then you become master in that. Clear? So to be very precise answer to your question, dear, you don't have to unlearn. You have to accept it that I have not learned and start from the scratch. Easiest way of doing that. Clear? 2 minutes. Question. Yeah.
So when we need like self-introspective in life, because every time like we like, is there like something or like sometime we need to like self-introspect, like our justify our actions or something like.
What do you mean by that?
By that,
Frame a question. Frame a question. What is your question?
so basically, like, is there some time in our life or when we need to like self-introspect ourselves? Because
See, I don't know why people do that. Like, I've been guilty to this. What to karo na maje karo life mein. Why to make so complicated self introspect, this and that? I don't do that. It's like I keep myself busy, very busy in my life, and travel is busy work. So I don't invest my time in self-analysis, or all those, the rest of it. So to be very precise answer to your question, I'm not the right person to do that. I would rather spend time. The only reason I shifted to mountains, good air, good food, good people, good thoughts. That's my requirement. Means me and Manjeet were so happy today when we ate in that guest house. I said, "Kya maza hoga khana kha ke aa jaya." We were high on food only today. A simple food. So our requirement is good air, good water, good food, good people. If you have this 4, then the quality of your thoughts will be good. That's it. And the easiest formula which I have got in my life in entrepreneurship, which I have learned from mountains, which we always say seva ki bhavna. Seva ki bhavna means you have a business model, but the whole objective is to help people. The essence is helping people. उसको बोलते हैं सेवा की भावना. The essence, but it has to make money. We are the only species on the planet who needs money even to eat or even to deliver babies, by the way. No other animal needs money to deliver baby. So this man-made piece of paper called money, if you are in business, then you have to take care of your money, but सेवा की भावना होनी चाहिए. काम में मजा आ गया. Well, it's helping people. Moment you have that blend in entrepreneurship, and then you develop these skills, communications and focus, other business skills, analyticals, which are required. You have everything, but you don't have that intention of helping people, solving the problems. You don't have intention of earning money. होता है ना कुछ लोग मुझे पैसा पसंद नहीं यार कैसा पसंद नहीं भाई तेरे को पैसा. You earn millions of dollars. You can actually solve various problems. You can feed dogs. You can do multiple things. So I'm not on that page where your basic question was. I'm not investing my time in self-analyzing me, and I'm just traveling and enjoying and learning from people. That's it. Yeah, flow with the time. That's your way of putting it. Yeah. Done with the time?
yes.
Sure. Thanks, guys. It was nice meeting you and building this conversation.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. Now, I request to Mr. Azam Ali, sir, to present the token of honor to Mr. Praveen, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
It was very engaging discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Praveen sir, for accepting the invitation and joining us today for a very insightful talk. You presented it today with a very practical approach. I hope this insight on business communication skill will be helpful for all of you and the attendees in their entrepreneur journey. I really thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule, and we look forward for more engaging session in future. And thank you, audience, for joining us. With this, we come close to end the session. I request to please join the high tea in the corridor. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you.
Manjeet? वापस जाओगे जल्दी? वापस जाओगे अभी? रुकोगे या निकल जाओगे वापस?
Those who bought coupons keep office receipt for you. अब तो फेंक दिया है कोई कुछ नहीं देखता है उनको इतना बिजी रहेंगे क्या और उसमें लिखा है कंजम्पशन ऑफ अल्कोहल इज स्ट्रिक्टली प्रोहिबिटेड चलो चलिए तो हम हटा देंगे डी ब्लॉक वीआईपी वालों के लिए लगा रखे हैं हम लोग के लिए कोटले के पास में जो लगा हम गरीब कोटले में हाँ